What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Match Me Abroad Season 2, Episode 5, coming in hot. So we have a brand new cast member. Okay, his name is Tony, 38 years old, and he is from Florida. And he's quite interesting. I think his matchmaker, Luisa from Brazil, she has her work cut out for her with Tony. So Tony struggles with being bald. So a few years ago, he got scalp micropigmentation, which is tattoo that mimics hair or that mimics, hair as it's first growing in after you get it shaved. So he got that to make himself feel better, give himself more confidence. Great, we love it. He says that his experience in the past with women has been that women really want uh, women are materialistic and they only want very rich men who drive Ferraris, who live in penthouses with oceanside views. That's his experience with women in the past. And that's what they're looking for. And because of this experience, he says that when he uploads his photos on the dating apps that he uses a lot of filters and AI generated images, basically faking the funk, putting up a front that he's this extremely good looking guy who has a lot of money. The pictures to me do look very AI. So I don't know how these women are not realizing this, but whatever. Um, he says that he makes himself in these pictures, these profile pictures, he makes himself look taller, richer, buffer. And whenever he gets called out for putting up fake pictures of himself, he says that women do it too with all the makeup and the filters that women use. Okay, let's let's explore that just a little bit. When a woman puts on makeup, I'm not talking about the filters, but I don't know why he brought up makeup, but when a woman puts on makeup and takes a picture of herself and she posts it online, when you see her, she's still that same woman with makeup. The difference is with him, he puts up completely fake images of himself. So when you see him, you're not getting anything at all from what you saw online. Okay. The woman is going to show up with makeup, and you saw her with makeup online. He is putting up a person that's not even an image, that's not even real. So that's not the image that's going to be showing up at her doorstep. So like I didn't understand why he was comparing the two. Now as far as the filters, it's the same for both. Filters, whatever, whatever. We all know what filters do. So if women are using it, it's no different from when a man is using it. He says he's looking for a woman who is true and real. So that is why he's on his way to Brazil. His idea of Brazilian women is that they're very voluptuous, that they have beautiful bodies, that they have long, beautiful hair, because his deal breaker is hair. The hair has to be long. And Brazilian women to him tend to have very long hair, very beautiful shapes, very voluptuous. And he equates a voluptuous body with the ability to give birth to very healthy babies. If you have a curvaceous hourglass figure in his mind, it is guaranteed that you're going to give birth to extremely healthy babies, which is so crazy for him to think that. Like, this man understands nothing about nothing. Your body type has nothing to do with the type of babies that you're going to have. Like, some of the issues are genetic. Like, I don't understand what his issue. I don't understand his reasoning. And like, how can you live in this world and think that if a woman looks healthy, then that means that she will definitely deliver healthy babies? I don't understand what he's talking about. And he equates very long hair with upkeep. That a woman who has long hair tends to care more about her appearance and tends to take care of herself better. Short hair, but to me, in my view, I feel like short hair requires more maintenance, because if you want to keep a short hairstyle, you constantly have to make sure that you're getting it cut. And sometimes short hair can take just as long to style as long hair. So the matchmaker knows about all of this, and she's very worried about Tony's standards and being able to match him. Because the matchmaker, of course, their goal is for you to be matched with someone that you're going to eventually spend the rest of your life with. And in order to have that type of commitment, people have to really connect on a deeper level. So she feels like, Tony has no idea that that's what the issue is, that that's what, he needs to be focused on, is connecting with a woman on a deeper level and not giving a damn about her hair. So she knows that her work is definitely cut out for her. He arrives in Brazil. He meets up with his matchmaker, Luisa. He tells her that he wants an hourglass shape. He talks about why he wants a woman with a certain type of shape, an hourglass figure, because he thinks it gives healthy babies. And he says he absolutely does not want long nails, because he says if a woman has very long nails, if they break, then she gets devastated about it, or she's constantly going to the nail salon to get them fixed. I think that's what he said. I don't remember. And he tells her absolutely positively, no question about it, I do not want a woman with short hair. Now, Louisa, I wouldn't consider her hair short, but she asked him, what about the length of my hair? And her hair is like about shoulder length or almost shoulder length. He's like, nope, your hair's too short. I wouldn't want a woman with hair that short. That's way too short for me. And he says, I am not attracted to short hair at all. So in my mind, I'm thinking she's probably going to match him with a woman who is either severely overweight or underweight, no voluptuous figure, a woman with a buzz cut and with talons for fingernails. I can see her matching him with someone like that so that he can get past the physicality of a partner and more into, the personality of a partner. Louisa tells him that he needs to look deeper, and he tells us in his confessional that Louisa needs to get the job done and to get it done right. So he doesn't know who he's going to be matched with. He asked her, can I see pictures of your potential matches for me? She's like, nope, you're not going to see any pictures. Absolutely not. And this makes him feel some kind of way because he's used to being in control and he wants to know what this girl is going to look like before he actually meets her so that he can go ahead and let Louisa know whether or not she's wasting her time matching him with someone that he's not attracted to. We know how the game goes, but I don't know what Tony to me is he's so into the way he is. I don't see him changing. I don't know. You can bring him an angel from heaven, and if she doesn't have long hair with a voluptuous body, he's not going to be interested. He's not gonna. He doesn't know how to. He's not interested in digging deeper. He wants a woman that looks a certain way, and I don't think he really cares about personality. If she looks the way he wants her to look, and as long as she's not a gold digger, he's cool with that. Anything else about her personality that might be defective, he really doesn't care, as long as she's not a gold digger and she looks the way he wants her to look. Moving on to Sarah. So Sarah goes on her very first date with Freddie. Her matchmaker is, I forgot her matchmaker's name. Okay, so she's on her first date with Freddie, and no, Dolly. Her matchmaker is Dolly. And Freddie is in his late 30s. He's an artist, he's a beatboxer. And Dolly purposely wanted to match Sarah with someone that is not what she's used to, with someone who is not her normal type of guy. And Freddie is that. So he shows up, they're walking, they're talking, they're getting to know each other better. And she tells us she's okay with him. She says that he's cute, that she likes his artsy vibe, and his jewelry. She likes his jewelry, his earrings, so on and so forth. But she says that she's used to dating very successful entrepreneurs. And I wish I could question her. I would have been like, Sarah, if you're used to dating and you're normally attracted to very successful entrepreneurs, then where has it gone wrong? Where has it gone wrong? Like what's going on? Like why have your past relationships failed? If you have a certain type and that's what you want, why doesn't that type want you? He takes her to his favorite restaurant, which unfortunately is located in the red light district. And it's an outside restaurant. They're sitting outside, a ton of people, red light district. Sarah is not happy. She says that she's used to something a little bit more upscale. He orders frog soup. Now, I know that the producers, with Sarah and also with Harold's date, whatever her name was, I'm pretty sure the producers are like, hey, why don't you order something very exotic that these Americans just aren't used to so we can get, some really good footage. I'm pretty sure that's how it went because it was just too coincidental that both Freddie and Harold's date, I don't think I even wrote down her name, that both Freddie and Amber ordered something that Americans normally wouldn't eat. Now, maybe it could have been that, it's typical when they go out on dates. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they were like, hey, these are Americans. They're not used to certain things. So let me go ahead and order something very different for them. But I really feel like the producers were behind the frog leg and the pig ear. So he orders frog soup, and she was a good sport about it. She did eat it, so that was fine. And then she asked him, what does beatboxing mean? Because she thought it meant breakdancing. And so he beatboxed for her, and it was pretty impressive. She was impressed by that. Then they started talking about family. She talks about how her father passed away, that her mom is actually there in Singapore with her. And he asked her, "Are you very close to your mom?" She said, "Yes." He said that he's close to his mom as well. And he said that, I think she asked him, "Do you live alone?" And he says, "No, I live in government housing, subsidized housing with my mother." That was an automatic turn off for Sarah. If there was any hope for Freddie, if there was any scintilla of hope for Freddie, it was gone when he said he lived with his mother in government housing. She didn't too much harp on the government housing, but she didn't like the fact that he lived with his mom. And so she was telling us in her confessional that it's not going to work and that she's very annoyed with her matchmaker, Dolly, because she feels like Dolly is wasting her time. Now, I don't like it how matchmakers or matchmaking shows will match people who are polar opposites. If she likes a successful entrepreneur kind of guy, what is wrong with matching her with a successful entrepreneur kind of guy who I don't understand who is looking for what she's looking for, who wants to get married, who doesn't mind that she's so overly glamorized, she's so overly done up. He doesn't mind the lip fillers. He doesn't mind the bundles of hair and the fake eyelashes. Why don't you find someone who would be? And I understand that their whole thing is it's not about looks, it's about the deeper connection. But people are still need to be physically attracted to their partners. I don't know why matchmakers are like, if we find people who can connect on a deeper level, then the physical attraction will come later. And this is like the running theme for Married at First Sight is that it doesn't matter what people look like, it's all about, deeper connection, da, da. But it doesn't work. That's a great theory. It's a great, beautiful theory that people should connect on a deeper level. Who doesn't like that? Because that's going to signify a deeper, long lasting relationship. But it doesn't work. People want to be physically attracted to their partners and they want certain things. I know it's superficial and it's like, well, if she's always dated rich men and she's still not married and she's 36 years old, then she doesn't need a rich man. She needs a man who's struggling. No, she doesn't. She doesn't need a man who's struggling. She doesn't need a starving artist. Maybe she can be with the man who is successful and who can still connect with her on a deeper level. Anywho, needless to say, that date was a flop. Moving on to Amber. Okay, so she's on her date. She said that her date with Paul, the guy who likes to fertilize his garden with his own human waste, that date was horrible. So this made her want to see Kevin even more, the guy that she went on her first date with. So her matchmaker puts her together with Kevin. They are on their second date, and he decides to take her to a pub. So they're sitting in the pub, they're talking, it's very intimate, they're sitting very close to one another. While they're talking, they're like making very deep eye contact with each other. They're listening to each other, they are conversating. The conversation is building on what the other is saying, and it's not just about saying something to say something. It's like this conversation is like a give and take, right? They're responding to one another. It's like a beautiful moment, and then the moment comes for them to kiss, and it's a very deep and long, passionate, steamy kiss. And the kiss just went on and on and on until some pub goers started making fun of them, right? They were like joking around with them. It was all innocent fun. And so then after that, after this very steamy kiss, you can still see that that attraction is like really strong between them. The way he's looking at her, the way she's looking at him. He even tells her that he told his mom about her and basically gave her like a glowing review to his mom. He said all the right things, that she's beautiful, she's funny, she's warm, she's this, she's that. And so Amber was just feeling really warm and fuzzy inside that he said so many positive, great things about her to his mom. So then Amber asked him, "Where do you see yourself in 10 years?" Now, why did she go and say that? So he tells her, "I really don't know. I haven't really thought about it." So that's an automatic red flag for Amber because she says that she wants a man who's a dreamer, a mover and a shaker, a man with plans. And so when he was just kind of like, "Yeah, I haven't really thought about it," so that bothered her, but she didn't want to dwell on that too much because she didn't really want to ruin the great evening that they're having. But that did bother her. And I can understand why that would bother her. But at the same time, Like, is he a bum now? Is he not doing anything now? If he has a great job now and he's, making a living and he's happy at his job, like, why can't it be okay that he doesn't have a 10-year plan? And I know that's like I don't know if that's a big thing for everybody around the world, but I know with Americans, yes, that's like a big deal for people to constantly want to do better, be better, and build on their careers and make more money and more money and more money and hustle and go out there and get it and, crush these goals. But it's okay if you're not like that, as long as you have a job that's got benefits. And so if you get sick, you have insurance, and you can take care of yourself and pay your bills and put some away in savings, maybe even have like a little investment. I'm like, that's fine. And if you want to just be that way until the end of your days, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't think that someone should constantly be pulling out, like a whiteboard and like constantly diagramming their 10-year plan and where they want to be in 10 years. And I don't know. To me, it wasn't a big deal, but to Amber, it is. She wants a mover and a shaker, someone who's going to be building on his dreams, crushing his goals. And so, yeah, that's like an issue for her. So we'll see how that goes. But if he's, like I said, if he has a job and he can be self-sufficient, even though it's their culture to live with your family until you get married, but if he has a job and he has the capability of providing for his own family independently, and he's happy at his job, and it's a job that, I don't care if it has a future or not. I don't care if it's a job that can support your family, and you can also put away for a rainy day, and you have insurance or whatever you need to make sure that if your wife or your kids get sick, it's not going to be an issue to get them the care that they need. I don't see anything wrong with living that way. And then if you can retire at a decent age and have enough retirement left over to carry you into, the end of your days, I see nothing wrong with that type of life. There's nothing wrong with being a goal crusher either. There's also nothing wrong with just being satisfied with where you're at. I don't see anything wrong with that, but I know a lot of people are like, never be satisfied with where you're at. You always have to be constantly, hustling and pushing and trying to go higher and get more and do better. I get that as well. Moving on to our boy Harold. So Harold is on his second date with Dolly matched him with Amber. Amber is in her mid 30s and she's never dated an American. I don't know what she does for a living. So when Harold sees Amber, he's instantly attracted to her. He says that she has very pretty eyes, that she was wearing a nice dress, and he liked the fact that she was smiling when she first saw him. So on the way to the date destination, Dolly was telling him, giving him some pointers and saying, okay, when you're with your date, don't be afraid to like physically touch her, like little light touches on the upper arm, just to kind of like, I guess, show some intimacy or make that physical contact to make her feel comfortable. So don't be afraid to do that. So when he meets up with Amber and they're ordering their food and whatnot, he's like touching her very lightly on the arm and everything. And the thing about Harold is that, okay, fine. I don't know if I would have recommended that because not everybody's okay with physical touch. But the thing, what I felt like Harold needs to kind of work on is that automatic smile. And I've said this before when I reviewed this show before. I think I reviewed it. I don't remember. But I remember noting that he has a way of smiling that doesn't seem very genuine because it's almost as if he's reminding himself to smile. So he'll be like in the middle of a conversation with someone, and then all of a sudden he like breaks out in a smile that's just like out of nowhere. Like it's not natural. It's not organic. It's kind of like he's smiling as if he's telling himself, I need to smile now. Okay, it's been, 7.5 minutes. I haven't smiled yet, so I have to smile now. That's what it seems like. Like he's trying to strategically place these smiles. And I wish somebody would talk to him about that because it kind of comes off as awkward and a tiny bit creepy. So he does the whole, physical touch or light touch. And so they're at their place where they're ordering their food. And she asks him, so what is your favorite food? Because this place has a lot of seafood. And he goes, I like crab. So she proceeds to order pig ears. even though he said he liked crabs. So they sit down with their food. She did order crabs, but she also did order pig ears, and she wanted him to try the pig ears. He did try it. It wasn't his thing, but he did. He was a good sport enough to try it. Now, her thoughts on Harold. She says that Harold is chubbier and shorter than what she expected. She says that she is not sexually attracted to him, but she knows that sexual attraction can grow in the future. So I don't know if she's saying that she's willing to continue to see Harold or what. And so they continue to eat and drink and talk, and they get to, to get to know each other better. So my whole thing about this show is, okay, these people are dating internationally. What happens if it works out really, really, really well? What then? Because somebody's going to have to move somewhere. Someone's going to have to move overseas. So like they don't talk about that on the show. So if like it matches, if people match and they're a good match, what now? Are these people prepared to go live in another country? Like, is Amber prepared to live in Ireland? Or, Kevin, is he prepared to go move to the United States? Like, I'm very confused about that. I don't think this show really explores that. Like, if it does work out, what happens? Now, Harold, when he was on season one, he did find a really good match, but I guess it didn't go as far as it didn't go far enough for them to consider moving, because they ended up breaking up, I guess, before it even got to that point of discussing who would move where. But I'm just interested in knowing who is willing to leave their home country for their partner. Is the plan for the person who lives outside the United States to move to the United States, or is the plan for the American to move into the other country if it ends up being like a perfect match? I don't know. But I don't think we're going to find out this season. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later.